EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using Buddy Payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money. Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful. Of course, we are in at a different time today simply because I have another engagement that starts at the time this is supposed to finish, so I wouldn't have enough time to get there. Welcome, goodly folks. As per usual, pull up your chair, tell a friend, gather your household, and let's have some frank talk. Thank you for joining as you continue your 3-month journey into 2023, effortlessly wiser, and of course more aware as to how, what, who, when, and where to avoid on your forward, onward, and upward journey. This is my 112th independent live session and my 10th for 2023 so far. Remember, folks, share the live, and let's get people in, because in as much as you may have thought that our subject matter today, make personal growth a priority or perish in the maladies of poor self-leadership, you may not have thought well, that subject is sexy, but it promises you to be very, very heatful. You hear the word? It's like bigly heatful, full of heat today. So Pay attention, because this is really about you. You see, folks, when you ignore your personal growth and development, opportunists can take you and use you for their own benefit, as experienced by so many of you over the years from June 1995 to June 2022, for the most part. I always see the relationship to the decrepit politics of our unsophisticated landscape to everything relating to the human development or the lack thereof in Grenada. Our working environment normalized for the most part. And what a pity, the worst parts of the old normal have now been merged with the worst instincts of many of our people, making service a nightmare in the Spice Isle. It can be easily noticed that things have changed for the worse. Some of our human capital are still to be seen with the same old crass and caustic habits, which had them nervous about their jobs when the lockdown started and presented immense uncertainty for their own survival, let alone ability to retain their jobs. Some people who may have worked for 1 week in one of the months of the lockdown and were paid for just that. You know, they had expectations of being paid for the full month and became so goddamn annoyed that they were reported to have walked off the job and are left today, up to today, in La La Land, looking for employment. I met one recently who told me that since she walked off that job that she had, all she's been able to get are menial tasks on a part-time basis to boot. Can you imagine that? How can we help that level of people move away from this state of always wallowing in the subculture and appearing to be without focus? Are they willing to divorce themselves from the poor and vulnerable state that old nastiness placed them in over most, if not all, of the last 24 years? Folks, we need to take an inward look at the things we can change and make personal growth our top priority. Remember, you have to take responsibility for your life, as no one is coming to save you. There is no more important question for ordinary workers and leaders right now than this one. Is my personal growth in tune with the changing external landscape, especially the one brought on by COVID-19? You must see personal growth, folks, as an urgent necessity to prevent your personal obsolescence. We are living in the most competitive business environment the world has ever seen, and the pace of change is only increasing. Many working in this environment make the mistake of focusing only on the job at hand at the expense of growing their capabilities. Working 100 hours a week to prove your commitment to the job and meeting all the boss's goals is nothing more than pure martyrdom if you are sacrificing your personal growth. Every worker at the peak of their expertise is at risk of being displaced by shifts in the marketplace, shifts in technology or global competitive landscape. After all, a full-time constituency of scientists, engineers, advertisers, Silicon Valley investors, and others make their livelihoods based on their ability to drive and create change. And change of any kind means new requirements for businesses and their employees. These structural changes in employment, folks, happen ever more frequently. If you're not aware of this fact, trust me, you are about to become obsolete. Add to that the fact that smart companies pursue talent wherever it exists globally. And the need to stay current sharpens. right here in the Caribbean. The refusal of our people to grow and develop is rendering them useless to evolving workplaces, which are now turning to the Philippines for willing and capable workers. We know how to demand high salaries because of the high cost of living. And then we show up only for the pay. And we give very little value for money. That amount of money that we demand, very little value for it. But we should be all familiar with the flow of jobs to call centers in India or factories in China. You see, knowledge workers are not immune to this kind of globalization either. The bottom line for knowledge workers is that competition is fierce. And you need to be not only at the top of your game, but also well prepared for how the game is evolving, because the game continues to evolve. You remember sometime I tell you, life is what happens when you are busy making other plans? You see, folks, managers and leaders must also heed the imperative for personal growth. If only because the knowledge workers in their charge are changing. Millennials will challenge and are challenging traditional sources of authority, such as information, accumulated experience, and judgment, much of which is available through the internet. Leadership skills may need revisiting with a view to reinvention. Folks, let's take a serious look at preventing your own obsolescence by becoming devoted to personal growth. Very, very important. Yes, you're busy. You likely have more demands on your time than ever before. But if you are not learning new skills, building on your knowledge base, gaining new experiences, and all the while carefully scrutinizing the ways you have traditionally viewed and approached your work, your skill set will become obsolete in today's business environment, as has been happening all too often. You see, when that happens, both you and your company that you work for lose. So here are at least 3 simple ways to avoid this fate and make personal growth your top priority. Take responsibility for your own growth. When last I checked, your life is yours and it is the only one you have. No one is coming to save you. Don't depend solely on the company training programs to expand your capabilities and capacity. These programs can be incredible or incredibly valuable, as we say. And access to such programs is a good sign that you are working at a forward-thinking company. Training programs are especially helpful for building networks, seeing things from different viewpoints, and picking up tools, ideas, and even frameworks to help you do your job better. But you know, the truth, however, is that such programs are not enough to help you reach your full potential. Let some of the things you learn in this workshop trigger your interest to seek more. Check out YouTube now. Check out some TED Talks now. Google stuff now. Sign up for some online diplomas and certificate courses now. Let just the thought of there being more out there that you can learn from fire you up to seek more, and stop allowing the realization that you have made it to the supervisory level or the management level fool you to think you have arrived. You may arrive nowhere because it is easy to fire a manager or a supervisor. You will lose if you do not feed your current level. For those after you and even below you with drive will likely overtake you. Decide for yourself the ways you want to grow and seek your own opportunities to learn. If you aspire to high levels of leadership, Be sure that you are getting exposure to different parts of the business. You could accomplish this by letting your bosses know that you are open to lateral transfers, lateral moves, not just promotions, in order to gain exposure. It's also your responsibility to carve out the time to grow. Find the time and carve it out to grow. And you know how I know you could find the time? Stop scrolling on Facebook. Stop minding people business. Mind yours. If you're not devoting a minimum of 10% of your time to your personal growth, free up some time, folks, by finding capable people to relieve some of your burden and delegate a little bit more. The second thing you do is try and make your own luck now. Stop sitting down there and if it were not for bad luck, you will have no luck at all. Make your own luck. Create your own luck. Position yourself for opportunities, folks. Assuming responsibility for personal growth is not just about time, but also about finding and seizing opportunities as they arise. The story is told of this example, for example. An individual, he started out as a corporate lawyer, corporate attorney, used every job he held as an opportunity to expand, not just his job-related skills, but also his leadership ability. Fueled by his focus on personal growth, this individual advanced in his organization. He was promoted to higher levels and given more responsibility time and time again, building a strong track record of success and broadening his outstanding understanding, that is, of business along the way. Now, after years of developing as a leader and chasing after personal growth, he is now the CEO of that large company. Think about it. The third thing you do is seek bosses who will help you grow. Be present in an interview now. You're being interviewed by your future manager. Pick up some vibes from that future manager now. Is he a manager that is likely to coach you and train you? Or is he one of those that's likely to point fingers at you and You didn't get a job yet, Don't be desperate to take the job and then you find yourself working for a dictator, working for a fool, in other words. Come on, folks. Be present. Some of you walking around town and you're absent. Some of you walking into an interview and you're not even present. Be present. The fastest growth comes from coaching by an attentive boss. As you consider what job to take, look beyond the entry on your resume. Consider how the boss might contribute to your personal growth. Look for a boss who gives honest, candid feedback and is willing to take chances on people. I remember years ago when Sir Royston Hopkins hired me as assistant manager at Spice Island Beach Resort. I pushed back. I said, Royston, I don't know nothing about hotel, You know what he said to me? Hey, you're young, you're bright, you're going to learn. I was the best man I ever worked for because he believed in me. Isn't that interesting? Look for a boss who gives honest, candid feedback and is willing to take chances on people. Some bosses are more willing than others to give people stretch assignments. Those trial by fire experiences are great crucibles for personal growth, especially when combined with thoughtful coaching. If your current boss is limiting your growth, consider changing your boss. Change jobs. Switching to a boss who is an excellent coach may be a smart move, even if it doesn't appear to be an upward one. Upward mobility will come because you are now with the right boss. We can all think of a boss right now who spent all of 34 years as the head of his organization, has never planned for succession to the point where all the dummies he surrounded himself with over those years have been rendered useless. like tits on a bull. That sounds like the old nastiness, doesn't it? But I'll tell you something. I had someone else in mind. Folks, the many rewards of growth are fathomless. Growth is about staying relevant by constantly improving and keeping up to speed with the changing world around you. Additionally, taking responsibility for your personal growth provides something that can be even more valuable: a sense of control over your own career and your own future. There are career advancement and financial gains as a result of personal growth. But don't underestimate the psychic rewards. Downsizings, outsourcings, and relentless globalization are mainstay realities of today's working world. Folks, your phone is not a camera. Your phone is the gateway. It's a computer. It's a gateway to the world, to knowledge. Stay plugged in. As you assume control of your personal growth, you will gain confidence in the fact that your future rests soundly in your own hands. You see, when you don't know that, people like the old nastiness could take you and play the fool with you. So you see why you should make personal growth a priority, or perish in the maladies of poor self-leadership. Let's take a little break here, and we'll come right back for some more.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, and Tillian Group, Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, wonderful. First and foremost, I didn't tell you any reason, I believe, as to why we shifted this afternoon. It's only for this afternoon. I have an engagement that starts when this is supposed to end at 8. I will not have time to get to it because I gave my undertaking that I will, and I have a role to play in that engagement. I must attend that because it is one of my pride and joy, something that I care about, that I'm actually participating in this evening. So with all of that in mind, I thought I should shift to 5 just to be able to not miss a Saturday, okay? So we are not changing. And I see Judy is asking, hey, how class starts so early? Well, my dear, I'm glad you're here. So it shows that class is valuable enough to you to get you in early, whether or not. So blessings to all of you. Let me just say hello and pay homage here to people like Akim, Joss Sweetcakes, Who else? Who else we have here? Smith, Mildred, you know, Carl, Shirley Ann. We have, who else? Nivea, sweetheart, blessings to you, my dear. Diane, we have Hermelin. Who else? Delani. We have Sawandi, my dear soldier. Blessings to you, man. Terry, Doris, Eudine, Paul, Miranda, Hermelin. I said this, I think I said that already. Samantha. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so wonderful to have all of you in the room. We have a Barbara who seems to have just joined us. Who else do we have here? Who else? I want to just thank all of you for, you know, making the time to be here with all the rest of us. Debbie, welcome, welcome, welcome. So that's on one platform. And then on the other platform, we look like we have, let's see, hold on. Karima, Silvani, Mimi, Christy Bell, Yulin, Amanda, Shadona, Monica, Jackie, Mary, Ann, Donna, Rachel, Ambika, Judy, Peter, welcome, Thompson, Brandon, Anne-Marie, Nikki, Jennifer, Deborah, Sheena, Shelley, and Augustine. Peace and blessings to all of you folks. Keep sharing that live. And of course, you know, there's some people who hide to listen because they don't want you all to see them live. They hide. They wait for it to be finished so that they could go and check it out. Well, it's so sad that we have to live like that in a society where we just can't be free. Sad. But anyhow, welcome back, folks, because we have a lot of onions to fry before I take off here this evening. I want to ask my young people today, who are you rolling with? Who is your company? If you are the brightest person in your Lyman group, you need to change group because there's no more learning available for you in that group. It would be remiss of me if I did not congratulate our nation's youth who are listening up and starting to pay attention. I want to take this opportunity to beckon you to pay closer attention to who you are rolling with. Pay attention to your company and the careless way that you lend your support to things and people that are not good for you. When I was growing up, I often heard my mother say, show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. If you go wrong with losers, you will end up a loser. You know, whereas this is not necessarily true for all. It is sad that it is true for so many of us. Too often we are easily led astray because of our lack of focus on what we ought to be giving our attention to in order to become value-centered citizens. We end up taking the path of least resistance, which our laziness leads us to, and we end up becoming either needy, greedy, poor, vulnerable, and or vultures. A few who were and still are not interested in such easy path via a mess of pottage have been and continue to be vilified and maligned by our strong negative peers who refer to them as sissies, mommy's boys, anti-men, and other disparaging names as if to bend them into their own fashion. I can tell you of a few of the few who never buckled under such aspersions and are today solid, mature citizens reaping a measure of success that these same negative losers cannot come close to. In fact, as God would have it, they are begged every time they are seen by most of these losers whose paths never collided with any semblance of upward mobility, let alone success. You see, folks, many of us who do not value life and are thought, you know, how should I put it? We don't even realize that there's only one life we have. Isn't that interesting? We remain around the table without any courage to leave when respect is no longer being served. We stay there. Look at the many who remained around the table of the old nastiness. Never mind how many times they were and are even up to today disrespected. And they remained and are remaining. What happened to them? They are reduced to nothing. Our focus is so much on the mess of pottage that we are receiving, that we are afraid that if we will not be able to receive it anymore. We will not be able to make ends meet without what we are getting. So we demean ourselves. But I have associated myself with Sophocles' philosophy. I would rather fail with honor than succeed by fraud. You see, folks, that's why I continue to beckon young people. Pull up your chair now and pay attention. Hold your ground. Become authentic now. Be your real self now. If at all you were one of the victims of that old nastiness, who paraded over this nation for almost 25 years in leadership, turning you into one of the many destitute citizens today with absolutely no hope, your time has come to shake off and position yourself for what is truly yours, what you deserve. As change has come. The old nastiness is no more, and you remaining awake must see to it that that kind of nastiness never returns at the helm of your leadership in your lifetime. I am glad that bit by bit, you all are pulling up your chair and taking note at a time when your deceivers over the years ran out of options and gimmickry. Young people, you are realizing, according to Confucius, the will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. It's quite encouraging to hear young people repeat when they see me, peace and grace, peace and blessings to your ultimate possibilities, not to mention, pull up your chair. That tells me they are listening. That tells me they are among the few who have structure and make time to pay attention to things shared that can do something for them up here. Again, I'm amazed that several of them took to heart the history lesson I shared with them regarding the age Eric Gary was, 29, when he fought and maimed the might of the colonial powers and the plantocracy back in 1951, some 72 years ago, and became successful as an elected member of the legislature. They seemed even more intrigued to learn that Maurice Bishop was 24 when he returned from London, and 5 years later, upon becoming leader of the New Jewel Movement, NJM, and at 29 started to give Gary West. Gary at that time was only 53. He received serious thunder until at the age of 34 in 1979, Maurice Bishop and his agitators succeeded in overthrowing Sir Eric, who was 58 years old by then. You see, the part that really got them a little stirred up is the realization that in their 20s and early 30s, some of them never worked, having left school at 18, even though every 5 years they were promised heaven and earth by that old nastiness. Many of them are today void of any substance by way of experience, with any chance of them experiencing structured maturity and a future to prepare for, and are relegated to the category today of poor and vulnerable. Young people, that is why I keep asking you to pull up your goddamn chair. Pay attention, because someone who truly cares is taking time to share our history factually with you so that you can see how your light is burning. I have learned a long time now that there are two ways to spread light. Either be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Plato told us a long time now, wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools speak because they have to say something. And of course we know a lot of fools in our society. Mouth always boss. Always on Facebook, plap, 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 plap. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Grenada fastly became a dangerous place to live under that old nastiness because of the people who are evil. He being the president of the club. You know how many people that man hurt? But you see, folks, the danger that I'm talking about, people who refused to do anything about the evil around them made this place a dangerous place to live because they remained silent. And so we have witnessed that since independence in 1974, freedom has been promised. An armed uprising had to free us from the excesses of Eric Gary's 74 to 79 regime. A US military invasion in 1983 had to remove the regime that followed, which introduced the people in a post-Gary era to the heaviest manners they ever experienced. And if you ask me, it's now self the people deserve heavy manners, because this level of dunceness, the only thing to turn it back is heavy manners. Young people after that period, a lot of the young youth of 1983, the young people then, they became prisoners of their past, leaving the island's affairs to be governed, for the most part, by out-of-timing, ill-intentioned rascals, rendering them the most unkind generation to the development of their nation. Interestingly, many of them melted into becoming needy, greedy, poor, vulnerable, and vultures. I have learned, folks, that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We've seen it here. It is not something we can pass to our children in the DNA or bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. One of my recent inspirational readings, folks, still resonate today. When the great flood covered the earth, Noah's family was the only one that was saved. It was because Noah found favor with God. It doesn't say Noah's sons had favor, but because they were connected to Noah, their lives were spared. The principle is, when you are connected with people who are favored, people who are further along, people who are more successful, then that favor will flow down to you. You will see increase and blessings because of your association. The question is, are you connected to people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who make you strive to do better? Or are you connected to people who are negative, drain your energy, and cause you to compromise? Eventually, you're going to become like whoever you're connected to. You're going to catch what they have. You need to disconnect from people who are hindering, who are keeping back your growth, and find some favor connections. People who are going places, who are at another level, who have what you dream about. I am on radio now since August of 1987. Having been the first to start interactive radio programs through Let's Talk About It on Spice Capital Radio. This messenger has been jeered at, maligned, bad-talked, cursed at, just because he was bold enough to point out the unacceptable direction Grenada was headed and the inferior leadership style that would get us to that Neverland in record time. Well, we're there. We are in Neverland now. Thank God for the in-time rescue. You see, we are there now on many of my peers who have been emasculated. Emasculated by the old nastiness over the years. Some of them meeting me now. Where am I when the country needs my voice? Them don't have voice. It's only me that have voice. But the nation knows what I stand for, which never changed. My focus is different today. And that is why I invite you, our young people, to pull up your goddamn chair and pay attention, because Grenada is yours. Nobody my age coming to save you. Because a lot of people in my age group, the majority of them, have failed Grenada big times. And now that the baton must be passed to you, many of these old failed farts, they are hedging to pass the baton to you. If many Grenadians had not rejected the several messengers who came with songs of solid messages between 1989 and the present, we would not be where we are today, with unsustainability as our mainstay in just about every ambit of life. All I can say is that people who lack knowledge of their history will always be doomed to repeat it. All the fete and bacchanal and people business that many of you love to share and like and participate in on social media need to become second class to the urgent need for you to pay attention to the things that really matter. Focus on things that can help you grow now. Focus on the things that can build you as against the things that are fleetingly entertaining. While you're at it, if Black lives really matter and we are in a Black majority country, stop bad-mouthing one another now and instead show some more love so that the devious and ill-intentioned in our midst are not allowed to continue to divide and rule us. I'm very aware that people use insults when they cannot make civilized arguments based on facts. I'm always prepared for that. So please, 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 make personal growth a priority now, for fear that you perish in the maladies of poor self-development. Let's take another break here and we'll come right back.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com. EDDIE-FICATION.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining, I'd like to thank you very much for coming in and, making your presence felt. Continue to share the live because, this program goes up until it crescendos. And of course, I have the last segment is going to be fiery. I promise you that. And for those of you, I see Maria is making a comment here saying that she wishes more people would look. Not everybody can sacrifice the time to look to view the program live. Good, that's one. Two, you have a lot of people who don't want people to see them looking at the program. But by the end of next week, the program would have had over 6,000 views. So don't worry. It is convenient. It is put there. It is there. It's available. There's no hurry to look at it. I quite understand your vibes right now. You feel lifted. You feel motivated. You feel inspired. So as a result, you wish more people were here with you. Just focus on you. Forget about who's not here now. They eventually will come. So, folks, there is a cloud of stillness permeating our environment. Many of us still broke, still complaining, still jealous, still envious, still malicious, still hating, still struggling, still nowhere, still negative, still caustic, still need to be protected from ourselves, and still not recognizing that we will die, and these mostly negative still states are no state in which to move on and live a fulfilling and fulfilled life. You feeling the vibes, folks? We can feel the vibes of people forcing to make out as if we are back to normal, when in truth and in fact, we are far from that. The more casually we act is the faster we will become casualties to our ignorance and lack of ability to pay attention. We are continuing to experience mediocre service in many of the places with which we transact business, forgetting that this new normal calls for real, genuine care and concern for people's well-being through speedy service delivery. We don't seem to understand that everyone is under pressure, as we are all experiencing the terrible effects of the post-pandemic environment in one way or other, not to mention the reality that COVID ain't gone nowhere. This therefore means that service providers are all qualified to put themselves in the shoe of the customer and really treat them as they would want to be treated when they become the customer elsewhere. Our economic situation is dire, as consumer confidence, is at its lowest, with so many important cogs in our wheel missing. We are all called upon to be innovative in our approach to what we do. Our authorities will have a hell of a time in this challenging post-pandemic environment to make ends meet, as serious links in the revenue stream have developed. Several kinks, rather, not links. Government will have to recalibrate in order to streamline its expenses to bring them in line with its ability to collect revenues. The only saving grace is thiefing stop. So what used to be thiefed will stay in the pot. Not making any sense, because it's just a logical deduction. The many poor and vulnerable, developed by the old nastiness and his gang of drakes over this extended period, have got to be focused on with a view to getting them to understand and appreciate that life was not meant to be lived the way the old nastiness designed it for them. Everybody is called upon to be patient, to take one day at a time and continue to give thanks for every day we wake up and are above ground. This is no time for concentration on wealth accumulation, because you're going to have to thief to get wealthy, because the resources are scarce. If we can barely get by, we will be lucky. Our focus has got to change to survival, while we all put our shoulders to the wheel to come out of survival mode quickly and move to a different level of existence. You see, it is now more than ever that we need to encourage ourselves to live intentionally and with due regard for consciousness on an everyday basis. It is generally agreed that one day we will depart on our journey free of cost. We will die, in other words. We don't need to worry about seat reservations. It is already confirmed. The flight is always on time. Our good deeds will be our luggage. Humanity will be our passport. Love will be our visa. All we have to do is to do what? Make sure we do our best to travel onward as comfortably as we deserve in business class. You see, this is precisely why I want for us to invite the young people of Grenada right here to pull up their chair. Take notice of the necessary encouragement I offer you week after week. You need to stop eating from the menu of fear and damnation. All you've got to do is pay attention, assert yourselves, stop allowing someone's opinion of you to become your reality. Stop living out of the experiences of others. The old stale farts have failed. Come and carve your own niche. Don't take examples from these people that sat there and did nothing while the old nastiness mash up Grenada. Don't take no cue from them. Come and start your own. These are some perilous times where if we are not encouraged, we will not make it. I am here to encourage you. My question to you is, who must encourage you otherwise? We all have to learn to encourage ourselves in order for us to come to terms with living our best life now. Because after all, now is the only time we have. We must learn to act on our will and forget our emotions. Sometimes we have to take steps of faith, even when we are hurting. Because you know what it says? God helps those who help themselves. According to Les Brown, we must feel the fear or the pain and do what we need to do anyway. The enemy will proceed with his or her mission to hurt us. We cannot take a day off from protecting ourselves, because the enemy does not take a day off from wanting to hurt us. Remember, I told you some time ago, what we focus on the longest in life becomes the strongest in our lives. Life has a way of changing on us without permission, folks. It's our attitude that will determine the ride. Young people, pull up your chair and take note now, man. You may be sitting around waiting for a miracle for your circumstance to change, after which you plan to be happy. Then you're going to have a good attitude. Then you're going to give the master his due praise. It might be too late. Remember, you must do your part first and be genuine about doing it. And then the supernatural presence will show up. Too many of us consider both the pandemic and the post-pandemic environments to be dark times, forgetting that we see what we look for. If you're looking for dark times, trust me, that's what you will see. Have you been deceived, mistreated, taken advantage of, and now you feel tempted to sit around mourning over what you allowed them to take away, which you consider a great loss? Well, guess what? You need to change your complaining attitude, because Half the people you complain to don't give a damn. And the other half glad what is happening to you and not to them. You have to get up on the inside, folks. You have to develop a victor's mentality and watch what will supernaturally happen to you. When you face adversity, like we are all facing with this economic entrapment, don't be a crybaby. Don't be a complainer. Don't wallow in self-pity. Instead, have the attitude of a victor, not a victim. You have to show all the enemies in your life that you are more determined than they are. Affirm as loudly, whether to the top of your voice or within yourself, I am going to stand my ground, even if I have to stand my whole life. After all, this life is mine, and it is better that I live believing for better than focused on suffering through it. I'm going to keep standing up on the inside, no matter how long it takes. You see, folks, that is what we mean when we say we must learn to pay attention and mind we own damn business. When we do this, we take care of number one. We were all born to be winners, not whiners. There is no good reason why any of us must perpetually live under the circumstances, always down and discouraged. Life has a way of knocking us down regularly, folks. We must find a way to get back up more often than we are knocked down. When our strong resolve is noticed by the elements of the universe, providence will take over and victory will be ours, because we would be seen to be doing all we can do. And it is the turn of the master to do for us what we can't do for ourselves in the circumstances. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, nothing in this world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Surround yourself with genuinely good, intelligent, kind-hearted, positive, and loving people, and see how the quality of your life would improve dramatically. I always tell people that I love and I care for. Go where the love is and stay there. Don't second guess it. My mentees are all doing well because they are where the love is, and therefore they must prosper. It is said that life is like a coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides. Only one side is visible at a time. We need to remember the other side is also waiting for its turn. So what should we do? If you're on the negative side now, you don't have to stay there. Flip the goddamn coin, man, and give the positive side its turn. I remind you that during our trials, we are being polished like a diamond, which can only result from pressure, which is necessary. So when a big assignment is in your future, you are usually prepared in the most challenging of ways to qualify you for the position. When some people attempt to bury you in the process of your preparation, they have no idea that they are actually helping to plant you deeply so you could never be rocked from your strong foundation during your future growth. But you have to watch your attitude, folks, as it is your attitude that will determine the quality of the ride. Let's take a break here and come back for the final conclusion of today's delivery. And trust me, folks, this last part, share the life, please, because this part ain't easy.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining, thank you for joining us. Folks, I recently learned that the Grenada Trades Union Council is making a to-do about not being considered to be included in the National Insurance Schemes Investment Committee. You know, whereas the Act established to set up the National Insurance Scheme, the NIS, makes provision for the inclusion of the labor movement on its board of directors as part of the tripartite arrangement between government, labor, and the private sector employers through both the Chamber of Commerce and the Employers Federation. The National Insurance Act, Section 18, provides that 1. There shall be, for the purpose by this Act, an investment committee which shall consist of 5 members to be appointed by the minister. The minister is defined as the Minister of Social Security, as follows. A, an officer of the Ministry of Finance nominated by the Minister of Finance, which officer shall be appointed chairperson. B, a member of the board other than the director. C, 2 other members who appear to the minister to be experienced in finance, accountancy, business administration, industrial relations, or some other related subject, one of whom shall represent employers and the other who shall represent the employees. And D, the director. Clear. It may have been the convention of previous administrations in government to choose to interpret this last part thereof, and I quote, and the other who shall represent the employees, unquote, causing them to select such representative from the labor movement. But this is clearly at the discretion of the minister as per the letter of the law. I'm coming to you here properly, legally advised, not by any folkmush legal mind with a record of losing cases in the court, but by the best. Let's look at the word convention, because I said it may have been the convention of previous administrations. You see that word convention? Let's define it. A way in which something is usually done, especially with a particular area of activity. Folks, in the event that that something is not working, Should that convention continue? Let that resonate. Folks, if we keep on doing what we're doing, we will keep on getting what we're getting. If we don't like what we're getting, we have to stop doing what we are doing. Most of the more influential local labor movement hierarchy have proved to be seriously wanting in their genuine advocacy on behalf of their members, and have been seen to be more interested in milking their members while using their mandate to seek power to agitate politically. And is that? We are seeing that from those same operatives today, who are all of a sudden up in arms because a successful corporate lawyer successfully transitioned from law to politics and has become Prime Minister of Grenada. Retrace your steps and recall how silent these same operatives of our local labor movement have been for most of the last 10 years, 2013 to 2022. They were very much in bed with the most rascal anti-worker administration, led by that old nastiness who refused to pay the retired public servants their pensions as ordered by the court, who used contracts to feed his mantra of poor and vulnerable, while helping to demand support from these contract workers within the public service just because they feel beholden to him and his brigands. They were the same union operatives who have absolutely nothing in place for workers when they work to rule or strike, and employers rightfully deduct their pay for the days they did not work while on strike. They are the same operatives who said absolutely nothing, far less to come out strongly and arrest the situation, with the old nastiness victimizing decent public servants who were known not to favor the wrongdoings and the wrongdoers this old nastiness was the leader of. As I said before, if they were known to be partial to the old nastiness when his reckless actions of borrowing and borrowing beyond ability to repay from the said National Insurance Scheme, NIS, while the labor movement was so properly represented on both the board of directors of the NIS and its investment committee, would you, as an NIS contributing worker of this country, would you have them included in the discretion of the new administration that you voted for, which promised you change? I could answer that for you. Hell no. Ask them to show you, while they were represented on the NIS's investment committee, where are the investments they helped secure for the NIS that assisted the NIS in securing profitable returns that have strengthened the state of its finances going forward? Ask them to show you. You know the answer to that question. They cannot show you any, because all they did was to aid and abet rubbish by the administration of the old nastiness over the period. Borrow, 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 with no ability, let alone intention, to repay the scheme. Are you surprised that the NIS is in peril today, to the point where monthly contributions and retirement age have to be increased in order to help the NIS regain its financial viability? The labor movement has to take its share of responsibility for the state the NIS is in today, the almost belly-up state under the watch of the old nastiness that they supported. As Grenadians, we need to open our goddamn eyes and see that the labor movement does not want to be on the investment committee to help anything. They could only want to be included to see how they could block the transformation agenda of the new administration. You and I know they come with absolutely no investment expertise or know-how. When they come up with these agitations as if to pollute the peaceful atmosphere brought on by this much needed change in political direction since June 23rd, 2022, we must shut them down by offering our informed opposition to their nonsense. Where were they when all the anti-worker rubbish was going on as orchestrated by that old nastiness? Where were they? They were in bed with the old nastiness, aiding and abetting him as he enjoyed his free paper to do what he wanted as he wished with whoever while they were in favor. How are you, Ronald? You say, good night, Queen's Park. Where were they all the time when the administration was taking all the money from the NIS? What they want to be on the investment committee so badly for? This government not interested in taking no money from the NIS. They're interested in holding the top of the bag tight so no more escape, and seeing how the government could repay all the reckless money, the money they recklessly borrowed in the past. They need proper people on the investment committee who could think investment, not who could think agitation, power, and blocking and all kind of nonsense. If only union members would see to it that they elect and/or appoint leaders who would invest in their personal growth and development, because they have followed that path with their own lives. The unemployable graveyard that this nation's employers have as a gene pool to choose from would be something of the distant past. Their meaningful contribution to national independence would earn them a proper place in our nation's history, as against the ridicule they so deserve today. I therefore encourage each and every worker in this country, whether you are unionized or not, stop following so-called leaders who have failed to lead you anywhere good. You can only do so if you make personal growth a priority. Otherwise, you will surely perish in the maladies of poor self-leadership. I throw my corn. All you wait to see all them foul gather. I'm in, I'm out. I'm gone. See you next week, God willing, for regular programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, remain lifted. I could do it a malt. You don't find so? People, have a great one. Got to run now. Have a good one.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money. Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Continuing Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Eddie